A little treat for you. So, I'm going to start my show. By the way, welcome to Calloways Cornor. Another great day here at the Brooklyn Cafe. There's a reason I started with juggling. I want to start by giving a shout out to my high school calculus teacher, Mr. Marr. He taught me how to juggle, among other things. He taught me how to integrate, how to take derivatives. But out of all of the things he taught me how to juggle, and that was the most valuable thing he taught me. As a math teacher, I know, it's unfortunate, but it's true. I've never had to solve for a derivative in a real-life situation yet. I've never had to pay for something and someone said, in order to figure out your payment, you need to solve this integral. But I have juggled. If you go to someone's house, you see 3 lines on the kitchen counter or something like that, you're going to juggle them if you know how to juggle, because something about 3 round objects that fit in your hand, if you know how to juggle, you'll juggle them. Enough of that. So the reason I opened with juggling, the real reason, I did want to give a shout out to my math teacher, but also I was thinking about what I wanted my show to be on today. And each week, I want to improve the show. That's my main goal. I think my second show was better than my first show. This is my third show. I wanted this one to be something cool, something out of the box. Unfortunately, I didn't have a lot of time to prepare for this show. I am dealing with school coming back. As I said before, I'm at Florida Atlantic University, and online classes just begun, so I'm managing those. I'm getting the textbooks, and I thought of, well, maybe I could do like a talent thing. I got some talents, maybe I could showcase some of my talents on camera, and then I realized there's not really many talents I could display, unless I was like a beautiful singer, or I don't know. I play the trumpet, but I feel like that would be obnoxious and very loud. And also, very boring trumpet songs. They're all from when I was in middle school and high school, and mostly concert band music. And so then I thought, I know how to juggle too. So I figured, start by juggling. But when I realized I didn't have enough talents to basically do a whole segment on talents, I thought, well, maybe I will detail my experiences from last summer, in which me and my brother backpacked across Europe. It was a great time, and I do have a lot of pictures, a lot of cool stories from that trip. However, as I said before, I didn't have much time to prepare for this, so expect that on another segment. I will be coming back and talking about that Europe trip. A lot of cool stuff. Very fun. And so my third idea was, I know a kid that I went to college with, and he is a phenomenal cook. I was in my fraternity, and we were very lucky because our fraternity chef left the kitchen open, which I think is very stupid. But yeah, when we get drunk at night, we would go into the kitchen and we'd have full access to a professional, we had deep fryers, stoves, you name it. And we would make these drunk creations out of leftovers and things we had in this huge fridge. And so this man, his name is Brett, shout out Brett Levine, he taught me a lot of things I know about cooking today, and part of the reason why I've gotten into cooking. And so I was thinking of having him on the show to do like a food segment or something about, food review, something about cooking, because he's very passionate about food. But unfortunately, as I've said many times, there wasn't a lot of preparation, and he needs more time to prepare that, as would I, and so expect to see that segment in the future as well. And so what I came down to for what I would talk about today, I was thinking, and I thought, a good time in my life something I could talk about a lot, something a lot of people could probably talk about, is their freshman year of college. What a crazy time. And so I'm going to cut to commercial, but when we come back, I'm going to give you some details about that. Stay tuned. Corner. So where I left off, I want to talk about my freshman year at a college, Cornell University. You may know it. If you do know it, it might be from The Office, because that Andy Bernard guy always talks about how he went to Cornell. Other than that, I don't think people know a lot about Cornell. It is an Ivy League school, one of the lesser known Ivy Leagues. And so I actually didn't know a lot about it when I applied. The reason I did apply is because I think my grandpa or one of my relatives went there, and my dad said it was a good school and that I should apply. And so I applied there among other schools that I actually wanted to go to start off with. So I applied to Stanford, Cal, Berkeley. My dream was to go to school in California, somewhere sunny, somewhere cool, I don't know. And so I remember when college decisions were coming back, and I was in spring break. I was in Colorado with my parents, and we were eating dinner, and we got the message that I'd gotten into Cornell. And I was like, that's that weird school my dad made me apply to. Whatever. I'm going to get into another school that I actually want to go to, so cool. Ended up actually not getting in anywhere else except for UNC, which was another school I was thinking about, but ultimately it was hard to turn down an offer to an Ivy League, so I ended up attending Cornell. And I remember the day I moved in, it was my 18th birthday. Some of you might be thinking, that's a little young, but I'm like right on the cusp of the grade cutoff, so I was always the youngest in my class. But yeah, the day I turned 18, I moved in at Cornell, and it's a beautiful campus. If you've never been to upstate New York, it is immaculate. Some of the best landscapes, gorges, waterfalls, really great stuff. And so another weird thing people don't know about Cornell, the day I moved in, I actually had to take a swim test. And Cornell, for some strange reason, makes you pass a swim test, and if you don't pass your swim test, by the time you graduate, they will not let you graduate. So everybody who attends Cornell is required to pass a swim test. Do not ask me why. So the same day I moved in, I went to the Cornell pool, I passed my swim test, and then I moved into my dorm. Let me tell you about my dorm. My dorm was called Low Rise 6. And there was an article in the New York Times about the worst dorms in America. And Low Rise 6 was in there. Now, you might be thinking, what about a dorm could land it in an article about the worst dorms in America? Well, for one thing, imagine being a freshman. You're eternally lost because you're in this big new place, and someone says to you, hey, your permanent place of residence, do you want it to be a jigsaw puzzle that you can't figure out? Because that's pretty much what it is. It was built apparently, for when the Black Panthers were rioting, it was built like a maze so that people couldn't, like, figure it out. And so there's, like, certain floors are connected to certain floors, and there's, like, suites within the floors. And so to break it down a little more, there are 7 kids to a suite, and they all share one toilet and one shower. And that's pretty much what it was. And so, living in that dorm, it wasn't as bad as the article made it out. People said they cried when they found out they got that dorm. By the way, I should have mentioned that at Cornell, you get randomly assigned to your dorms. So as a freshman coming in, they just assign you, there's like 13 or 14 dorms, and you basically get lottery picked into random dorms. So unfortunately, I got that one, but honestly was not as bad as I thought it was going to be because I'd read the article before I came to campus. But no, it was not that bad. So, dorm life, freshman life. To dive in, the reason freshman year was so crazy, I think, is that here's a bunch of kids who had been partying in high school and stuff, but like under their parents' wing, and now you're in college and nobody knows how to drink responsibly or drink at all. So there's kids getting like absolutely murked on a nightly basis. Like, I remember sometimes I would take like 8 or 10 shots before I went out just because I had no concept of liquor or drinking. I just wanted to be drunk. And then, yeah, the rest is history from there. But no, like there'd be fire trucks every night. Some kid, and you always knew it was a freshman. Oh, some freshman couldn't handle his liquor. Fire truck's going to pick him up. You would see kids just get murked every night. And so, yeah, it was a weird scene. And the way Cornell was set up is the freshman dorms are on the top of this hill. And you have to walk like 30 or 40 minutes down the hill to College Town, which is where all the fraternities had their annexes, what we called them, off-campus houses. And that's where you would go to find the parties. So it'd be like a 30, 40-minute walk there, 30, 40-minute walk back. I think, honestly, considering the cold, by the way, if you don't know, upstate New York is freezing. But I think you kind of had to be absolutely out of your mind drunk to walk that distance in some of the temperatures. Otherwise, I don't think I would have done it. And so you're going to these parties, and it's funny because when you're not in a fraternity yet, fraternities rush in the spring at Cornell. And so the reason, and the only way you can get into these parties is if you have like a good ratio, if you have a bunch of girls with you. And so there was this whole like constant battle all semester of getting the girls in our dorm to like come out with us because they were our ticket into the fraternity parties. And sometimes there'd be other groups of kids, and the girls in our dorm want to go with them, and we'd say, "Oh, you're not allowed to have other friends, you're kind of." It's funny to think back on it, but no, they were our friends, and they're allowed to do what they want. But the reality is that if you were a guy, a freshman guy, and you didn't know anyone, like I didn't know a single person going into Cornell. You needed girls with you in order to get into parties. Otherwise, they would tell you, who do you know here? You hear that classic stereotype. If you didn't know someone, they'd turn you off at the door, and then you'd have to walk 40 minutes back to your freshman dorm. And so, I think that's one of the only times in my life where I kind of wished I was a girl. Just because I don't think I would work out as a girl, I don't like how they're always very mean to each other, always talking a lot of gossip, right? Yeah, it's a lot of gossiping with girls. I like the camaraderie associated with boys, and I think it'd be tough as a girl. I think girls have it tough. But for that one semester in my life, I really was like, I wish I was a girl right now. So, that's pretty much my synopsis of partying in freshman year at the university I went to. I'm sure it's a very similar story at other universities. Like I said last show, I'm going to start ending my shows with a story. Today's story actually ties into what I talked about today, which is my freshman year of college. So, my freshman year at Cornell, I actually somehow became the school mascot, which was kind of crazy. That's actually why I wore this shirt. If you can see, it says Big Red Bears on the back. They gave us this shirt when we got initiated as mascots. And yes, it's not just one person, it is a group of people that do the mascotting. I do not think one person could handle all of that. I don't know how they do it at other universities. I think it's actually one person at other universities, but it's like a very professional person. At Cornell, they just got like a group of students to all be the mascot, which I thought was kind of cool. And so, I'm going to get a little bit into that, how I got into that. So, me and my freshman year roommate, shout out to Billy Burns, good man, we went to a club fair. Every university has one. It is some auditorium, some outdoor setting where all the clubs go, and they all set up a booth, and they showcase what their club is about. They recruit people, they try to get people to join, like information sessions, stuff like that. And so, we went to the club fair, and we're signing up for like everything. We don't care. We know we don't have time for half of this stuff, but we sign up for like 10, 15 clubs. And then towards the end, we see Touchdown, which is the Cornell mascot, walking around with like a picket sign that says, "Sign up to be the bear," or something like that. And we're like, oh, no way. You could be the mascot? That's crazy. And so me and my roommate sign up. And basically, what happened was you sign up, and then they make you audition to be the mascot. And what that audition consists of is they give you the mascot suit, and there's always like college tours, especially at Cornell, a lot of people are always touring. They give you the mascot suit, and they let you pretty much roam around campus for like half an hour, and they evaluate they just let you do whatever. And so I was getting creative, you know. I was hiding in the bushes and like jumping out at college tours and stuff, and I was trying my best. And one of the things they teach you is that you have to be very animated when you're in a mascot suit, because it's kind of like really creepy to be like a mascot with one facial expression and you're just like standing still. So you have to always be like moving. And I think I did a good job of that. And my roommate, on the other hand, he was more of a somber man, very monotone, for lack of a better word. But I believe that that is why he did not get the part, which he didn't. And then, as you know, I end up getting the part. They get back to me, they say, "You're the mascot," yada yada. And then something surprising happened, which is there was like an initiation thing, which I joined a fraternity, and so I was kind of going through that with the fraternity, but I didn't expect the mascots to be doing that kind of stuff. But yeah, they did. It was kind of crazy. It was like a 2-3 hour ordeal one night. I don't think I can get into the specifics, but it involved, as most rituals do, alcohol and walking to various parts of campus. We even howled at the moon at one point, I think. It's very strange. So that happened, and then their society is called Tooth and Claw. It's prior to fraternities and these older schools, Cornell being an old school, there were these secret societies, and they all had names like Skull and Quill or something like that. And so this is Tooth and Claw for the mascots. And so I got initiated in that, and so I was a mascot. And honestly, it was the best time ever. The thing about being the mascot is nobody can know you're the mascot, and actually if your head falls off, and people see who you are banned from being the mascot. You're pretty much kicked out because your identity is supposed to be a secret, even though I obviously told my friends from other schools and some of my close friends at Cornell. But yeah, they showed me where the locker was. They keep the locker, there I am. They keep the locker in a secret location, I can't really say. It's under one of the main buildings at Cornell. You take an elevator down and you walk around a corner, and they keep it very hidden. But you also it's padlocked, you need a code to get in. I knew the code. And so there's me. I think before I left my freshman year, my dad took a picture of me at the locker. There's me with the mascot head on. And so aside from that, basically what I did as the mascot, I attended events, mostly sporting games. I did a wrestling match. Cornell is known for wrestling. That was fun. But what I also did, and actually what I mostly did, so if you remember last show, I explained that I used to play ice hockey. And so I was a very good skater. In fact, I was one of the only people in the mascot group who could skate. And so what they had me do was, in between hockey games, which also Cornell hockey, our football team's garbage. Nobody cares about football at Cornell, but our hockey team is like top 5 in the nation every year. It's pretty much the main event there. I got season tickets. Everyone gets season tickets. All the kids go to the hockey games. It's a great time. And so what they let me do is, in between periods in hockey, I would put the mascot suit on and actually put on ice skates, and I would skate around the rink, and I would like slam into the boards and slide and stuff, and it was ridiculous. And every time I was scared I was going to fall, my head was going to come off or something, but thankfully I never messed up, I never fell. And yeah, so also it being cold in the hockey rink was huge because that suit is hot, so hot, you will sweat bullets in there if you're in there for like 30 minutes, let alone an hour, especially at a football game in the fall. I would never do those. But yeah, that was, what a time. And if I could go back, to one point in my life and relive, it's got to be that freshman year. I think a lot of people would agree. Freshman year of college is crazy. Everybody, as far as I know, had a great time at freshman year of college. So I'm going to wrap things up here. It was great talking to you, giving you some insight into my life here at Calloways Cornor. Tune in. I'll see you next time. Stay safe.